Yakuza's Majima Goro is known for his crazy and over-the-top way of speaking, combined with his unique Kansai accent. Japanese fans have gone as far as to give his style of speech its own name, Majima-beng, meaning the Majima dialect. In this video, you'll learn some of the interesting quirks of Majima's Japanese, what makes it sound so different from other characters, and how he's secretly faking his accent. Of course, being a member of the Yakuza, Majima's speech represents the rough aggressiveness of that part of society. He uses words like ora to appear threatening when angry. He certainly wouldn't use a polite word like anata to refer to someone, more likely using teme to insult them instead. His near constant use of insults like aho and boke, both different ways of calling someone an idiot, also reflect Majima's violent Yakuza lifestyle, as well as his personal love for verbally abusing everyone around him. Majima's voice also has intense rises and falls in pitch, fitting with his crazy over-the-top character. As part of his Kansai accent, Majima uses plenty of unique vocabulary. Hona means well then, like well then, see you later, and can be used as a brief way of saying goodbye. The word for good, I, becomes dame, roughly meaning no good, becomes akan. In Majima's dialect, shoganai, used to say it can't be helped when something doesn't go as intended, becomes the catchy sounding shanai. To say thank you instead of the standard arigato, Majima uses the Kansai dialect phrase o kini. Majima also replaces chotto with chito, saying chito bakari instead of chotto bakari. He also replaces hayaku with hayo in phrases like Arguably, the most important feature of the Kansai dialect is replacing the copulate da with ya. When Majima speaks, you'll constantly hear ya towards the end of his phrases. He also sometimes replaces ya with ja for extra aggressiveness, really making him sound like a Yakuza. You'll hear Majima saying seiya instead of soda and seiyakara instead of sodakara a lot. When Majima uses imperative verbs to tell someone what to do, instead of saying shiro as someone in Tokyo would, he instead says senka or seiya. He also uses the particle ya after verbs a lot, like the ongoing form of a verb ending in teru becomes toru in the Kansai dialect. Janaika can become yanaika. Furthermore, when asking a question in standard Japanese, ka is added to the end of the sentence. A typical way of saying this in the Kansai dialect would be to use kai instead, as Majima can often be heard saying. Instead of konna for like this and sonna for like that, Majima uses konai and sonai respectively. In the Kansai dialect, toyu can become chu. In standard Japanese, yaru represents a sense of aggressive determination. Yatte yaru could be translated as I will get it done. In his Kansai accent, Majima instead says yattaru when forming the negative form of a verb. Instead of nai, the Kansai dialect instead uses heng or on at the end. The verb shimau, used in standard Japanese to represent doing something without intention, can instead be replaced with mau. Majima tends to draw out and exaggerate his sentence-ending particles, such as de. He also uses no a lot, which is kind of like saying right at the end of a sentence. I don't think many people even really use this word in real life, but Majima loves it. Of course, you can't forget Majima's favourite phrase. Chang is quite a cute, affectionate way of referring to someone, so hearing Majima refer to the legendary dragon of Dojima in such a silly way makes him all the more hilarious. Majima's voice actor, Ugaki Hidenari, is from Tokyo, so his Kansai accent sounds fake. Majima's character is actually canonically shown in the games to be faking his accent, and once during a serious conversation with Saejima, even briefly returns to his native Tokyo accent. Native Kansai speakers will notice Majima's strange intonation, which doesn't match with how people from Kansai actually speak, making him sound like someone from Tokyo putting on a fake accent, which he is. He also has a weird choice of words and phrases, using phrases that sound old-fashioned and aren't really used by most Kansai people today. Even if his accent is fake, Majima's Japanese is still a great opportunity to learn about the Kansai dialect in its most over-the-top, exaggerated form, and the Yakuza franchise just wouldn't be the same without his crazy way of speaking.